If you're a regular viewer of the U.S. Report, you know that one of the big meaning-of-life questions we try to answer every week is, just who the hell is running the show at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? Well, now we seem to be a little bit closer to an answer, because first things first, it is definitely not this guy. Now, what you just saw was another bit of Biden weirdness as the president abruptly walked out of a Medal of Honor ceremony this week before the final benediction was offered. Guess he didn't have any of those handy-dandy presidential note cards around. You know, the ones that say, "You sit here. You stand there. You, Mr. President, don't leave until the ceremony is over, or you don't get any ice cream." Anyway, naturally, Karine Jean-Pierre was there to play cleanup.
He left as planned, as it was planned. He left when there was a pause in the program in order to minimize his close contact with attendees who are about to participate in a reception.
Minimize contact, you say. Well, it's another day, another dollar for the hardest working woman in show business. It wasn't the dementia. What did it? It was COVID. Yeah, that's the story, honestly. So that's the question then. If Joe Biden isn't running things, well, who is? And whispers have been growing that the guy really pulling the strings is this man, Barack Obama. Now, observers have noted that for some time the former president has been acting behind the scenes like, well, a bit of a string puller. After the Obama's time in the White House was over, and because being a lifetime public servant pays so well, the Obamas bought this mansion in Washington, D.C., price tag $8.1 million US. Hell of a pension there. This, of course, broke with a long-standing tradition that U.S. presidents, when they're done, go home, like Reagan to California or Harry S. Truman to Missouri. But Obama, not so much. Because, again, when Trump came to power in 2016, Obama was in no mood to leave town. Remember, the effort to stop Trump through the bogus Russiagate hoax came straight out of the Obama White House and the Clinton campaign, which decided to paint the Republican as an agent of Moscow to nobble his chances of becoming president. Now, Hillary's campaign may have paid for the Steele dossier, but it was Barack Obama's CIA director, John Brennan, who in November and December of 2016 helped elevate Russiagate from a failed Clinton campaign ploy to a priority of the American national security apparatus. And he did this, you'll remember, with a hand-picked team of CIA analysts under his direct control who validated his thesis. As biographer David Garrow said, quote, "If Brennan was the instrument, the person who signed the executive order that turned Brennan's thesis into a time bomb under Trump's desk was Barack Obama," unquote. And obviously, he wanted to be around to see it go off. Now, the effort to get rid of Trump ultimately wouldn't succeed until 2020, but of course, having an addled president like Joe Biden, who literally used COVID as an excuse to campaign from his basement, gave Obama all the more reason to hang around D.C. For one thing, he was able to put his people into the executive branch because, as they say in Washington, personnel is policy. That's another way of saying that who you appoint determines how you govern. And as a result, the Biden administration is still, quite consciously and by design, loaded with Obama appointees. Many people have called it a third Obama term. More than 60% of Biden's original official cabinet were Obama appointees. Former Obama-era Secretary of State John Kerry now uses his wife's private jet to fly around the globe to tell us all to eat less meat. Biden's Secretary of State Anthony Blinken got a promotion from deputy in the Obama era. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan came out of Biden's office when Biden was Obama's VP. Acting Deputy Secretary of State Victoria Nuland, too, is an Obama-era retread, who was, of course, responsible for so many of the foreign policy failings in Eastern Europe that set the stage for Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. And on and on and on it goes. But it's not just foreign policy. The division, the chaos by design, these are all hallmarks of Obama-era liberalism, and they're being replayed today. And indeed, the whispers around the idea that Barack Obama is basically running the show grew even louder when this happened last year. Barack Obama showed up at the White House. Everyone fawned over him. And the president, the actual de jure president, if not the de facto one, well, he looked lost. Again, it's circumstantial evidence, but it points to where the real center of power is. Because, never forget, Barack Obama has always been quite open about the idea that he could run the show, have a de facto third term, if only they could find the right guy to be the front man.
People would ask me, knowing what you know now, do you wish like you had a third term? And I used to say, you know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats, looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. Wow. I'd be fine with that.